Part 2. Also, what makes you think the state of Texas is even going to allow you to do this politically? You know, saying like this and potentially ruining the rivalries between Texas and OU and Texas A&M, that's going to lose the state money. It's going to cost the state money. You got to think about that too. And even though, going back, you have had cruddy non-conference schedules in the past, what has pushed you up in the rankings these last 4 years? Playing in the Big 12 Conference. Now, when was the first time people started talking Texas in the national championship game back in 2008? After you beat Oklahoma. Not before, after. You guys dominated the Big 12 this year. There's no question about that. But now you're operating under the assumption that this is going to be the way it is forever. You know, you did dominate the Big 12, but there are times you have to ask yourselves, where did your skill end and the down years of other teams begins? Texas A&M pushed you to the end. OU, you beat us by a field goal, even with all the injuries that we had. This is the first time you've ever really beaten down Okie State. Okie State has pushed you to the end. You barely beat Nebraska now that they're back into the mix. When the other teams in the Big 12 North start getting their crud back together, they'll give you a run for their money too. Look, no one is denying the success that you guys have had and the success that you've had in the recent years. No one's denying you that. I'm giving that up to you guys. It's not easy for me to do because you're my rival, but I'm giving it up to you. Just because people may think that the Big 12 is in a stink right now, you look across the board at what's happening to more than several teams in the conference, and then you look at me and say that's an accurate portrayal. Texas, look, I'm trying not to be as antagonizing as possible because I'm trying to give you reasons why this is a bad idea. Because I'm just throwing my 2 cents in here. But believe me when I say this. This is the first time you've won the Big 12 in 4 years. The last time you won the Big 12 in 2005, after you lost all that talent after 2005, you lost to teams like Texas A&M, Kansas State, Oklahoma, so on and so forth. You guys have had incredible success this year, but you're operating under the assumption that it's going to be this way forever now. Success comes in cycles, my friends, cycles. And just because you breezed through the Big 12 this year doesn't mean you're going to do the same next year, all right? So before other pastures look greener to you, you have to remember to keep your head on your shoulders. And for the love of all that is good and decent, you are not the glue that binds the Big 12 together. This was a football conference before you got here, and it will remain the Big 12 football conference if you leave. We'll probably take TCU into the Big 12 South. And TCU fans, let me know. I'm sure you guys would love to have a shot at us every year. Now, I can't speak for you. I'm pretty sure you will. You got all of these deals and all this fame based on the success you've had this past year. Oklahoma doesn't dial it up. Last time I checked, we have the most conference championships out of any team in this Big 12 conference. We're the only one that's won 3 in a row. And we have lost at least 6 starters. So I challenge you, Texas Longhorns. I issue this challenge to you. I challenge you to play as good as you did this year. You go ahead and lose Colt McCoy, lose Jordan Shipley, lose Sergio Kindle, lose Lamar Houston, lose 2 guys on your offensive line, and then come talk to Oklahoma. Then play as good as you did. I challenge that to any team in the Big 12 to play that way. And where is the one of the toughest places to play in college football? People keep saying it's the Big 12 South. And Texas, you want to give up that boost to your team? Really? Am I hearing you guys right? Not only that, but to give that up and go to a conference that doesn't even have a championship game. Really, Texas? You're going to ditch us for a conference that doesn't even have a championship game. Weren't you guys the ones after 2008 chanting, playoffs, 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 but you're considering going to a conference that doesn't even have that final defining game to prove, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that you're the best team in the conference? Where in the Big Ten it's a few slip-ups and you're screwed. you lose to too many teams and you're done. You can forget about your success in the Big Ten. It's kill or be killed on the frozen tundra up there. So all of this, after all of these things, really the only incentive I see for the Texas Longhorns going to the Big Ten, in the immortal words of former Kansas head coach Mark Mangino, dollar signs. Big, fat, lucrative TV contracts. But Texas, let's be honest here. If you have a down year next year, what are those TV contracts really going to mean? What's going to happen when the money dries up? What are you going to have? If you're just doing this for the money, and because right now, you go to the Big Ten, that's basically saying, screw these rivalries that we've had for over a century. Screw you, Big 12. Screw you, all this. I want the money. I want to play for the Big Ten. That's basically what you'd be telling the rest of us. So, in my mind, right now, fat, lucrative TV contracts, lots and lots of money, it would be appealing for anyone. But long term, this is a bad idea for Texas. Bad idea to go to the Big Ten, long-term wise. The only team in the Big 12 that merits going to the Big Ten, in my opinion, is Iowa State. They're up there in that region. They're already playing Iowa every year as a non-conference rivalry game. Why not make it a conference game? That'll give Iowa State more money that it could use. Sorry. And I think Iowa State would have a bigger chance to make a bigger splash in the Big Ten as opposed to the Big 12. That's all I gotta say, guys. That's my 2 cents. I guess it's gonna be spent however it gets spent. So, Cowboy TD, Longhorn Nation, hit me up down there. Let's have more discussions. And that's all I gotta say. Boomer Sooner. I'll catch you guys later.